I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Nativity Stories.
Welcome to Prattle World. I'm your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to Alternativity Stories, a month-long look at alternative stories set around the most wonderful time of the year. And I have another wonderful guest with me today, and I'm going to wish him a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, a Happy Festivus, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all of those kind of grouped together in the best holiday punch I can give him. It is Mr. Dan Burgess. Welcome back, sir.
Hello, how are we?
Very, very, very good.
Thanks for that dead arm.
Dead arm. I will keep punching you throughout if I don't think you're doing a good job.
Thank you. That'll black and blue by the time I leave here.
You definitely will be. I will. It's your Christmas gift.
Thank
you
you.
know, every Christmas turkey, takes a good pounding,
Yes,
and you will be the same.
Nice bit of stuffing. Right in the giblets.
Don't know what your wife would say to that.
Yes. I'm saying nothing.
Well, welcome. And I have to admit, I know you're a fan of this series of films that we're going to be talking about, but we're mostly going to focus on the second one, which is set roughly around Christmas time. There is
Very loosely.
very loosely, yes. That counts in this.
Indeed, of course it does.
In my sphere of alternative holiday movies. This is within that sphere, even very minutely.
If there's a touch of tinsel, it goes in.
Absolutely, a touch
what
of
she
I
said.
like that. A touch of tinsel. No, I like that. So we're going to be talking about the Maniac Cop franchise. We're mostly talking about Maniac Cop 2.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Maniac Cop? Do you remember the plot of maybe the first one?
Maniac Cop is about it's a lifelike story.
Yes, of course.
Could happen any time.
I mean, with this year, we've had a lot of Maniac Cops.
Literally, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if anything, was a very prescient film for the time.
It's about a police officer who's framed
Ooh.
for getting too close to the truth, man. Ooh. So he gets sent to Sing Sing, as I believe all good police people do, and it's always Sing Sing or Alcatraz or somewhere.
Usually,
somewhere like
yeah.
that, somewhere where people know the name of.
Yeah, where are the famous prisons in America? We're going to send him there.
Let's send him to Sing Sing.
Yeah, because they're known for being horrible. Yeah. Oh, send him there.
Where's that? I don't know. So he gets basically murdered in the showers. In a non-homoerotic sense.
Yes,
the scene is it's got no Top Gun about it at all.
No, there's no kind of volleyball playing with the boys. There's none of that.
There's just a few very awkward stabbing movements.
Yes. Oh, right.
Somebody dropped the soap. Let's stab him up.
Yeah, it does get stabbed up pretty, and in the face. It's quite brutal actually. He gets proper slash around the face.
It's brutal, but it's really, really not.
Yeah. That as well.
It's ultra 80s.
Oh, it is very 80s.
It's like,
yeah. It's very, yeah.
And because he's obviously the Maniac Cop, or he's going to be the Maniac Cop in the future when he's like come back from the dead.
Yes.
Oh, have I given too much away?
Spoilers.
So he doesn't speak or anything. He just goes, "Ugh," and it's just like ogre noises getting made. He's like this big he's a big guy, and
he is huge. Yeah.
But yeah,
Robert Zadar, isn't it?
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, Robert Zadar.
Because I just go Robert Robert Zadar.
Yeah, so he was the star of another Samurai Cop, another cop movie.
Yes, and anything where they needed a guy with because he had that facial
massive chin,
very very thingy face.
If we're talking about big chins, Bruce Campbell is in the first two movies as well. Yeah. But Robert Zadar puts him to shame.
Bruce Forsyth would have been put to shame. I'm a Maniac Cop.
Good guy.
So anyway, we digress again. He goes in the showers, and unfortunately, he's just killed by all these people he's put away. You put me in Sing Sing, I'm gonna cut you up. And so he gets murdered, but he comes back from the dead to get his revenge. Don't literally. There's no point to the film at all. He's literally just a maniac cop.
That's it. It's to be fair, it's in the title.
He's an undead cop.
He's kind of undead, comes back from the dead. It's mentally ill.
His mum's involved, as always in these kind of films.
Is it his mum? I thought it was like a girlfriend. I think it's a girlfriend or a woman he knows.
It's a woman he knows. It's an older woman, isn't it?
Yeah, slightly.
I remember,
because they say
I'm showing my age here, but it was a while ago. I watched the first one.
Yeah, fair enough. I watched it a few weeks ago, I think, maybe a month ago. And they say that she's not that good looking. She's a bit older, but she went out with him. They had a relationship and stuff. But yeah, it's not his mom. But
because she lives in like doesn't she live in like
a bit rough? Yeah.
She's Oscar the Grouch, basically.
To be fair, I think all these characters pretty much live in. She lives in really shitty apartments, which I quite like, because usually in these films they live in these massive apartments and crazy kind of. And you're like, how do they afford them on their salary and rent control and all that sort of stuff? But I do like that they're in these kind of gritty, grimy. That's another thing about like this film, is it kind of gets the gritty griminess of New York across, I think. And same with is it William Lustig? I think it's William Lustig who directs, who famously did Maniac, the first film Maniac with Joe Spinell. And Larry Cohen, kind of that kind of B-movie king, Larry Cohen kind of contacted him and said, I really loved your film Maniac. Why did you never do a sequel? And he was just like, well, they've just never did. And he was like, right, I've got an idea for you. Maniac Cop.
We like the title already. Let's make it.
I like Maniac, but I don't like cops.
And I think Maniac Cop 2 is closer to Maniac as a film as well, with some of the themes involved.
Yeah, I think so. Well, they were going to cast Joe Spinell as the kind of mad, not Marilyn Manson,
that Manson character.
That Manson, Charlie Manson,
the serial killer dude.
Yeah. So he there's two serial killings going on in the film. We're skipping to the second one now, but yeah, he plays this kind of Leah Rossi, I think, plays this kind of Charles Manson character.
The best character in the film.
Yeah,
his performance is amazing,
and he's mad. He's like, my friend is here again,
and he's in Maniac Cop.
Yes, yeah, he is.
As he's the mayor's. He works for the mayor,
yes,
but he's not the same character.
No.
I assume.
Yeah.
Although, wouldn't that be a nice twist?
Yeah, I think there's a few kind of, obviously again produced by Larry Cohen, written by Larry Cohen, all three films, and William Lustig directs all three films.
And the third one, few people who appeared in all of them. That's different people.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Leo Rossi's been in so much, you wouldn't recognise him in this.
No, because they make him grow out his beard and his hair,
full hair.
I think this one they were trying to kind of inspire kind of almost like a Frankenstein element to it. That was kind of one of the inspirations. I think they wanted Leo Rossi to look like Igor from Son of Frankenstein, who Bela Lugosi played, one of his kind of best known roles. And he kind of does that. He kind of manipulates the monster and gets him, if we see the Maniac Cop as the monster, which he is, within this, he kind of guides him, but
Dan, that's why people listen to this podcast, for that kind of idea. Because I just watched it thinking, oh yeah, he's a serial killer with mad hair. But
I've got layers.
You go deep, man.
Layers upon layers of information. So we'll jump back to that first film again before we get onto the second one. He's put in prison, he's killed, and then he comes back out, and there's this kind of dread around policeman for a while, that anybody could be him, because there's kind of a mystery element to the first one. You don't really know who it is.
Someone in a policeman's uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, like his
16'3", hulk of a man.
But his uniform is always like a dress uniform. You're like when you go to the funerals or when they're marching and stuff. So he's got the white gloves and stuff.
Well, he's supposed to have come from his own grave, isn't he?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I never thought about that.
He's risen from the grave.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I always kind of thought, well, he's not dressing like all the other cops, so why would you think?
White gloves on.
Yeah, why would you think that he is like no other cop normally would dress like that when they're on the beat? So why would you think that it could be anybody? Again, like
they just see the badge, man. It's just a badge. It's New York. Everyone sees the badge and wants to spit on the badge. My God.
And there is all this kind of criticism about, like, is within the first and the second film, like, you know, you're only one bad day away from being a maniac cop yourself. You know, like your mental health and the stuff you have to deal with on a daily basis.
It's actually for the time it was made as well, because the second one was only like 1990, wasn't it? So it's from that time, it is quite saying about the mental health thing. It does touch those issues. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're just one day away from getting stabbed up in the showers.
Yeah, I think that's how, spoilers, but I think that's how kind of Robert Darby ends the film, the second film. He kind of starts saying that, you know, I could have done this. I could, you know, there's scumbags out there. They, you know, they're out within a week. You know, even if I catch them, they're out within a week. And, you know, and there's a lot of, even in the third one, there's like talk of police, you know, using excessive force. I think they even mention the Rodney King incident in the third one, which is, again, like quite prescient. The first two films of, you know, going on to that, and then into like nowadays the Black Lives Matter as well. Good news as well is we are getting a TV remake of Maniac Cop.
I believe so. Yeah.
With from the director of Drive.
Yes.
Drive. I can't say it today. Drive. Nicholas Winding Refn. But even better, it is a script from Ed Brubaker, comic book scribe of Captain America Winter Soldier and Gotham Central and many other kind of noir-esque kind of comic books. Yes. So it might actually be very, very good.
It could be.
I hope so.
Well, can't do much worse than some of the absolute pants that's on the TV at the moment.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's always something you're looking forward to, and you go, "Oh, this will be great." And then you go, "Oh God."
What is this?
My God, what is this?
Yeah, I've been watching a few alternative holiday movies.
Yes.
And some of them I've watched have been pants. I'll be honest. I wasn't. I'm going to surprise you. I wasn't a big fan of the French Connection. Didn't think much to it.
It's probably hasn't aged that well.
Yeah, it's just a lot of running around. I remember driving.
I always remember the only thing I know about the French Connection really is my dad used to watch it all the time on VHS. Because it was probably the only film he had.
Burn it out.
He used to love it every time it was on a Christmas or whatever. Oh, what's a French Connection? Great film. I'm like, is it?
Yeah. You've got it on every day.
Yeah. I wouldn't watch it as a kid because it was like, it's not a kid's film.
No, it's really not.
And then now...
It's not even a 30-year-old's film.
And then now I look at it and go... no.
It's probably groundbreaking for its time, but again, for me, I was like, I think I'd rather watch something like any of the William Friedkin movies or Gene Hackman movies or Roy Scheider movies. Yeah. I think I'd just prefer those. But there's a few other rubbish ones. Anyway, back to Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop.
We best point out that it's because French Connection, it is Christmassy. He is even dressed as Santa Claus at one point.
Well, so there is.
You are allowed to have watched
it. It is technically. So this is why I call them alternative.
It's die-hard level of Christmas movie.
It's alternative. This is why I call them alternative, because you don't if you don't want to watch the same old shit again every year. It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, you know, Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation. You know, you don't want to watch any of that. Just try something a little, you know, to the side.
There's plenty out there.
Speaking of French Connection, in fact, Robert Darby for Maniac Cop 2 was basically the investors were like, right, who are you going to cast as the star for this new Maniac Cop 2 film?
Oh yeah, and he just basically made it up.
And he was like, and he was looking around, and he was like, I think he was like in a cinema.
Hadn't he seen the poster on the way into work or something?
Is it License to Kill? Is that the film?
License to Kill, was that?
So Darby's the villain in that, and he saw him on the poster and went, Robert Darby. I think we're gonna. Yeah, he said he's really interested. So Robert Darby was cast before we even knew about it.
That's a great story. That
called him, and he was like, "Hey, I want to cast you in a film." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'd like to do a film, but maybe not Maniac Cop 2." Which is fair.
I like the script, but can't you call it something else?
Yeah,
and not be Maniac Cop.
Yeah, and he was like, okay, but I'm gonna. He sold it to him as French Connection meets Frankenstein, and then he was like, you know what, I'm on
again with the deep cuts. Dan again with the deep cuts.
On board, exactly. I try and inform, and I got a lot of this information. I'm stealing a lot of this information from one of my favourite YouTubers, Good Bad Flicks. It's really good. He looks at like genre and exploitation stuff. He does really deep dives, and his research is a lot more intensive than mine. So he talks to people, calls people, and stuff.
Well,
but it's a really good YouTube
do proper
channel.
online
Oh,
research. Look at a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
research.
That's it.
In inverted
Go and
commas.
do it. I'm quoting.
Well, you know more than I know, so
Yeah.
it works.
It just
Do
I'll
it,
take
folks.
I'll
Try
take
it. Try it.
I also pillage IMDb as well for
IMDb
information.
is that's
the
what it's
go-to.
for. It is a database after
Exactly.
all.
Yeah.
It's a base for data.
Yeah. Not so much Wikipedia. Not so much
No,
Wikipedia.
that's never a good idea.
No, but there you go. But yeah, and Robert Davi was a part of this. So I think to talk about Maniac Cop 2, we kind of have to spoil the ending of Maniac Cop 1.
Yes.
Because that's kind of how the film starts.
Which is a good... something you don't see anymore in films with film franchises. Is the beginning of the second film is literally the end of the first film.
Yes.
So you play it again and you think, hang on, have I put the wrong film on here?
Yeah, and it kind of just begins, doesn't it? There's no kind of lead in or credits. It's
And
just
it's literally, it shows you the end again. And yeah, so they always seem to end up at the docks, these films, don't they?
Yeah.
The docks just seem
Down
to be
the
around.
docks.
Yeah, you'll be in New York one minute, and the next minute you're in the water.
I'm right in the water.
Oh God, I'm sinking again. What the hell?
I'm mouldy. I'm all mouldy. I'm
And
pruning.
and there's always like a UPS style, one of those side opening vans.
And always hanging on the side, fighting.
Some great stunts in these films as well.
Yeah, some really good action. We'll get into it very shortly, but basically the ending of Maniac Cop 2. You think for a lot of the time that Bruce Campbell is the Maniac Cop because he's the main suspect. He's always there. He's got links to all the people. So throughout the film, he's
Clark Kent.
Yeah, he's the main suspect, and he was cheating on his wife. So why wouldn't he kill his wife?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. And eventually, it's Cordell makes his appearance. Is like, look at my face, and they uncover.
Don't look at it.
What's his name? Halloween 3. Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins.
Yeah, he plays a great role in the film. He's like kind of the hero. But again, like a lot of unexpected things happen in that film. And right at the end, they're fighting the Maniac Cop, and then he drives in almost directly, just drives into this big,
Jaws.
shaft or something. It's pipe.
It's like the. It's almost like the thing off a ship, isn't it? The
mast. Yeah.
It reminds me of Jaws.
Yeah, it's like, and he just drives directly into it and stabs himself.
He goes, ow!
And then him and Bruce Campbell are thrown into the water.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell survives, and the Maniac Cop is dead. But then you've got your little Friday the 13th teaser with him slightly crawling his way.
Yeah,
out of
the hand
water.
comes up the side of the jetty.
Slightly mouldy hand.
Yeah, in a white glove. And you think, how did he get rid of that pole through his chest?
Yeah. Who knows? But it's
The magic of the movies.
The magic. So this movie begins showing you that, which is great. And again, kind of carries on directly after it, which is good as well. I like when a film does that. It's kind of almost a direct continuation. It's not like, there's been a few years and the couple that got together in the last film are now divorced. Now they have to get back together.
And they're not in this film.
Yeah, they're not in this film, or there's somebody else. But yeah, you get the same characters that you left with the first film, you get in this one. So you get, I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but the blonde police
generic blonde
police
actress.
lady. Yeah, that one. She comes back. Bruce Campbell comes back, and they're kind of explaining what's happened, but nobody believes them. No one's like, "That wasn't Cordell. Don't be stupid." What a ridiculous.
What is her name?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that. We have to look that up.
Is it Lorraine Landon?
Lorraine Landon, yeah, she's really good in this, and she plays in the first one like an undercover prostitute and stuff as well. I think she's the first one to kind of, for the lack of a better word, finger Cordell as the killer. But yeah, so she believes it, and again, like they're like, no, you're talking bullshit. He's dead. He died in Sing Sing. Don't know what you're talking about. There's no evidence.
Yeah.
It could have been any other cop. And they're like, no, and they're like, he's going to come back. He's going to get us. So they have to go for like a psych evaluation. And
it's a good sign of the times, that film as well, because it is one of those, oh, shut up, you dumb broad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
She could literally give them all the evidence they'd need, and they'd go, oh, whatever, you crazy plan.
And then again, initially in this film, they think it's her because they're like, he's coming for me, and then she disappears, and then she's found and stuff. But surprisingly, the two main leads aren't the leads of this film.
No.
Because they're dead.
Quickly dispatched.
They are, the trailer said, you'll scream blue murder. And then they certainly do, because they are stabbed to death, or I think one of them's stabbed and she's thrown through a window.
Bruce Campbell is stabbed.
Yes, that's right, through the newspaper.
I want to talk about that death,
Okay.
by the way. It's
Go on.
possibly the greatest cinematic death in the entire history of cinema.
Please go on.
Because nobody in the right mind reads a paper like that guy does. It is literally like he's got a broadsheet and it's got like a 2-word massive caption on the front, like policeman slain or something like that. You know, like it's probably a comic book, but he's holding it by his chest, talking to the guy behind the counter, or the blind fella, by the way, who sells the newspaper. James L. Jones' dad.
Yeah, and I think you can tell by the voice. Yeah, the voice is very kind of.
I was like, that's amazing.
Star of Sleepaway Camp as well.
Star of all kinds, and he's basically a blind fella selling newspapers in this, and he basically lifts the newspaper up like, oh, talking to him, and then all of a sudden just lifts it up like nose height, like he's a detective hiding. All he needs is like holes cut in the centre of the paper so he can look through it.
It's like a spy.
And then the knife comes through the paper. Just like any good magician would do. And he goes, and then he tears the paper down the knife, and it's in his throat. And he's dead.
Yeah, he is quite, because it's almost like he's got his arms like full length. His arms could open.
This is a proper broadsheet, isn't it?
The broadest of broadsheets.
And then you've got the blonde lady police officer.
Lorraine Landon.
Lorraine Landon. I don't know what her character name is though.
No, I'll look it up. I'll look it up this time.
And the miserable new copper in this, the girl who comes into this one,
the psychologist. Christine. See, I'm struggling with names now as well.
Names are bad. You wouldn't think. I watched this like days ago, and then but they're so memorable.
Yeah.
Is it Smith?
Claudia Christian?
Claudia Christian is
she plays the lead kind of psychologist.
Is it Smith in a name in this film?
Possibly.
It's something generic.
Yeah.
And but nobody cares.
No
one even knows she's a cop half the time.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm a psychologist. She doesn't dress like a cop. She doesn't act like a cop. No. She's like, I'm a psychologist.
It's almost like she's on a TV personality, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Time.
I think she's a little bit kind of. I think she's better than she is, I think. And she's like, I'm above my station. And I think she's kind of slowly throughout the film kind of brought down to earth. So much so that she starts wearing a police uniform again.
Yeah. And she basically believes the other girl. Mm. So they go off together to find Cordell in the car. They're getting the worst cab driver's cab in history.
Oh, yeah, he's an arsehole.
And the cab driver's like, I'm not... There's a murderer after us. Don't stop your car. I'm stopping my car. No one's damaging my cab. Yeah. So he gets killed immediately for getting out of his cab.
Because he's an asshole.
Frankly, deserves it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the best Christmassy kill.
Go on.
It's the most homicidal kill I've ever seen. Basically, the stop. Maniac Cop appears. Dressed at no, he doesn't. I was going to say he's dressed as Santa Claus, but that'd just be that'd be too far.
That's one Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Too far. So they basically, he's there, handcuffs the new cop to the car steering wheel, and she gets thrown through the shop window, which is all done up for Christmas. And luckily enough, there's a fully fueled chainsaw on a cardboard cutout hand. It's fully fueled. Think about this. Health and safety gone mad.
And the blade's on it. The blade is on it.
Everything's on it. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
But the best thing about it, it's got little bits of... It's got a red and green tinsel thing on the end, just so you know it's Christmas. So she attacks the Maniac Cop.
I mean, how else are you going to cut down your own Christmas tree without your tinsel chainsaw?
Yeah, tinsel chain. So
the tinsel chainsaw massacre.
If it had tinsel as the chain,
that would be good. I mean, that's your horror movie.
I tell you, I'm writing this when I get back.
Do it.
So she attacks the Maniac Cop with this chainsaw, and he basically just snaps a neck.
He just grabs it. He just grabs it with his hand. He's just like, there you go.
Yeah, whatever, and then just breaks a neck. Literally, like. Yeah. You're done. Bye.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's the thing about this. He's kind of almost kind of superhuman in this, isn't he? He takes lots of bullets and takes lots of damage.
It's essentially Jaws, isn't it?
Yeah. Frankenstein, Jaws, whatever. And there's no real explanation. It's just that he's back and he can take crazy amounts of damage. And then in the following film, again, he comes back and he takes a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, so Officer Smith, I'm going to say Officer Smith. I'm just going to call her off. It's Riley.
Riley.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So this...
What a life for Riley.
Susan Riley.
What a life for Riley.
Yeah, so she's like kind of dubious almost, but believes that it's him. But then she actually sees air empty a gun into his stomach, point blank range, and he just doesn't even move, does he? He just takes it all. Yeah. So then she's a true believer, and then he's obviously handcuffed her to this car, and then what happens there is the best stunt work I've seen for decades.
Yeah,
where the car, he just basically, this is what's funny about, he's almost like an Laurel and Hardy quality kills he's trying to do. He just basically handcuffs her to the steering wheel of a car and then pushes the car down the hill. So
that's it. Just like,
so she's stuck on the outside of this car, battling down this mountain.
Yeah,
essentially mountain roads. And it's some stunt work involved there. But yes, we digress again.
Do you want to know something tragic?
Go on.
A bit horrible about that stunt.
Oh, don't tell me.
So it's a good stunt, and they did refilm it. But so
was she pregnant at the time?
She was.
And
she
didn't
was.
tell anyone.
So basically, she signed on to the film. This is all apparent. Like, I don't know if this is true, but this is rumors, and people have said this. But she apparently signed on to the film because she needed some money. She wasn't that interested in doing it. She was apparently very difficult on set.
Yeah, she does look a bit miserable.
Yeah,
through the film, to be honest.
Yeah, apparently she ignored the director's direction and just did it performed however she wanted to perform. She got on Robert Darby, didn't get on with her at all. She apparently complained about the size of her trailer compared to Darby's, things like this. She had a medical done for insurance. They have the medical done before they do any stunts or anything like that. She's refusing to do the stunt work. Eventually they get her to do the stunt work. And they do it a couple of times, and then, she starts bleeding, and she suffers a miscarriage, sadly, which is awful, horrible. But she didn't inform the physician who was assessing her that she was pregnant. So then the whole film got shut down. They lost their insurance. So what they did is they had to have a. So they didn't want to sue her because they could have sued her, but also they didn't want her suing them for the confusion. So eventually they worked out that she would come back, finish the film, and they wouldn't sue for not releasing that information, not making them aware of that information at the medical assessment, because that is something they should have known. Again, it's all kind of hearsay. I don't know how much of this is true or not. But yeah, it's still a tragic incident, no matter what you kind of paint it as.
Very tragic, yeah.
But again,
great stunt.
Great stunt, looks amazing, and there's some really good stunt work as well later on. I'm not sure whether I prefer this or the original Maniac Cop. I think the first one has a bit more kind of suspense, and there's a bit more of a mystery. I like that element, and I also think it's a bit more stylish, the way it's shot, the way it's kind of photographed.
This is a bit more noir, the second one.
It's a little bit more noir, and it makes up for that lack of kind of suspense and mystery with just throwing shit ton of action at you. Guys are on fire, there's people being thrown through glass.
It's very 90s.
Yeah.
There is some great full body burns going on in this film.
Yeah, and they go on for ages as well, and you're like, oh my god, they've and then again they do it in the third film as well. They set it completely on fire for ages. They're just wandering around.
I need to watch the third one again.
The third one was not as bad as I thought it would be. It was not as bad. It's not as good as these two, but it's not as bad. I know Lustig left because there was some. So he delivered a 15-minute cut, and then they weren't happy with that, clearly, because it's not a full film. And he went, "No, I'm not bothered." And then he left. So they had to kind of they use a lot of footage from the first two, and kind of they use a couple of the flashbacks from the prison and the opening and some other stuff from parts 2. As well to kind of fill it in, but I thought it was fine for what it is. It's not going to change lives, but it is the Maniac Cop franchise. So what do you expect?
Yes, hopefully they'll make up for it with this new series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a bit different, but I'm looking forward to it. I think they've got some amazing talent working behind it. So, and I think it's a good IP, and I think again. I've heard that they're going to include a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff. Yeah, because I do think that horror films should say something.
Yeah, they've got to be able to say something about the society at the time, haven't they? Because that's what horror is.
Exactly.
And usually horror booms when
something
horrible shit's going on in the world, which it is at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it. 2020 is just...
Yes. It's not a great year.
But let's hope some good comes out of all this.
Yes.
We get rid of some of these arseholes.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Well, Donald Trump's gone, so that's a bonus. That's one good thing.
Bit of politics.
Oh, bit of politics. Not too much. I did that the other week. I'm not going to get political again.
You can't help it. Everything's political, isn't it?
True,
Especially when you get old.
Especially art. Art is never not political in my eyes. I think you kind of, as much as you like to be entertained, like even with these films, like they are pure entertainment.
Yeah.
But there's still something behind it.
And they always use it for a bit of free publicity by
exactly
getting somebody up in arms on Twitter.
Yeah, but
something.
I know. Like I was watching a video on Silent Night, Deadly Night the other day, and the kind of outrage. Again, Good Bad Flicks, check it out. About the outrage of that and the Killer Santa, even though there were several Killer Santa movies prior to that.
Yeah.
But like this didn't get any. There was nothing. Like they had no kind of and. You know, if I was a policeman, I might be a bit like, you know, that's probably not a good thing to be promoting or selling or putting that idea out there. But then again, you know, not long after that, the whole Rodney King stuff. Yeah. And but yeah, it was surprising there was not as much outrage as I thought there would have been for a film called Maniac Cop. You know, weird.
Yes, but there's just so many Maniac Cops
out there. Well, in fact, this series of film was so popular, there was a rip-off franchise called Psycho Cop.
Of course.
So you had Psycho Cop and Psycho Cop 2, I believe.
Almost a franchise?
Almost a franchise. You could argue it's a franchise, maybe. Sequels? Is that a franchise?
I don't know. Wouldn't make a good box set, would it?
No, probably not. I mean, you could
a slim box.
I mean, you could compare. I'm imagining Psycho Cop 2 and Psycho Cop 1 are probably not as good as the Maniac Cop franchise.
I am going to find them now.
Yeah,
and find out.
I'm a little tempted as well.
The kind of films you asked me to watch, so we can talk about them. You know, I was surprised it
weird
wasn't
shit and depressing films.
Yeah. I see all your podcasts with all these people watching. Oh, we're watching Finding Nemo and talking about it. And then next week we've got Dan who's talking about something horrible.
Well, I like you, Dan, because you're up for anything.
Some terrible B-movie crap.
Hey, I love society. You love society.
Who doesn't love society?
Who doesn't love society? Not our society, not our current society. But
so many of these films, I was saying before, so many of these films always involve like. My wife will walk into the room as I'm watching these films, and there's a topless woman on the screen pretty much every time. She goes, "Oh, are you watching porn again?" No, Dan's asked me to watch this.
Guess who's forcing me to watch this film again?
# ban this filth.
Oh god!
So yeah, you watch some shite. She says to me quite often.
Oh, I've had that said. My friend Andy, who does Angry Andy Reviews on YouTube.
Yeah,
Again, another good YouTuber. Check him out. His missus came in and she went, "Oh, you two don't half watch some shit." And I was like, "Yeah, that's accurate. Yes. That's accurate. But we love it.
It's the best. It's the best kind of shit.
Yeah, it is. It's what this podcast is all about. It's that kind of stuff and the genre, the exploitation.
And if you're an older person like what I am slipping into,
and myself.
If you're in your 40s or at least over 30, it might make you think, oh, you know what? I remember that film and I haven't watched it for 20 years. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it. Maybe I'll put it on again.
Time for a revisit.
And then 5 minutes into it, you go, oh, shit. What have I done? Mistakes were made.
Well, we were going to do, what was it, Deep Star 6?
No, we were going to do Deep Star 6.
Versus Leviathan.
Yeah. We were.
But then...
I still watched them. But we never did the podcast. But I still had to sit through both of those films.
I know. I'm sorry.
And part of me enjoyed it. I don't know which part it was.
I'll tell you who I would have. What would have been your winner out of the two if you had to choose?
I do think there's both terrible films.
Yeah, they're not great.
I think Leviathan probably.
Yeah, I would have probably given it to Leviathan. I think Deep Star 6 had a bit too much kind of tech speak and jargon for me.
Too much, a bit like science fiction.
There you go. So we've just done the podcast.
There you go.
Short form.
That was it. Yeah. So I didn't have to watch the films.
If you want to watch an aquatic, I tell you what. Why don't we do in the future? One of the next ones we'll do a top 5, and we'll do
aquatic films,
aquatic horror movies. How about that? Okay. There you go. And that's part of your research.
Top 5 wet horror.
Wet. just soaked.
Yes.
The Aqua.
We got underwater to them. We could have watched underwater.
Yeah,
and
underwater.
it would have covered both films.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
Yeah. Well, I watched it recently. Yeah. There's a bit of that.
But anyway. Back to Maniac Cops.
maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that in the future, and then that's kind of. I don't feel as bad for making you watch those films then, because we've got something else.
The worrying part is they were in my library. That's
So you already had them.
Yeah, that's where your worry is.
There you go. But yeah, anyway, back to Maniac Cop 2. So yeah, before we were talking about the stunt work. So there's a really great scene. Probably my favourite scene is when it's very Terminator. He breaks into the police station, and he's just walking through plates of glass.
Yeah, some of which are badly set off and explode before he touches them.
Yeah,
which is the fun bit of the early 90s cinema.
Yeah, and then he becomes almost like the Hulk and throws a guy through like seven or eight cubicles. Just throws him with one arm.
That scene makes me laugh because if I remember rightly, he's obviously he's quite an old fella that he's throwing about.
Yeah.
He's like the chief, isn't he, or something like that. And he's obviously just acting it to begin with, so you can see like he's struggling to move this guy about weight wise. He's like he's like lifting him up against the wall. And then all of a sudden he just goes and this guy who's now 15 stone lighter and 30 years younger flies through the air,
shards of glass everywhere. But yeah,
15. It's an amazing.
It looks great though. It looks great. Like
absolutely
it's
amazing.
Fun. And he's just like. He's got this big gun and he's just like brr, brr,
yeah, because the beginning of this was RoboCop, where all the cops are shooting in the range.
Oh yeah,
and then they just all start exploding because he's got this. He's got he's got his big like Magnum thing, hasn't he? And he's shooting them from behind He's been stood behind the targets because he's impervious to bullets.
Yeah, he can just take it.
He's getting shot to shit, but we don't know this. And then all these guys just start going pop, and like bits of them exploding off.
Yeah.
And he kills all these coppers, and then he finds this gun, which is like nothing I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah.
Speaking of RoboCop, it's like a machine gun pistol.
I think me and my friend Andy reviewed I Come in Peace, and I think it's the same gun. I think it's a Calico. I think.
See, deep cuts here, man.
Deep cuts. I mean, and they were out round about the same time as well. I think they were both out in 1990, I believe. So that makes sense. Maybe the same.
I was just thinking,
guy.
they've made that gun up.
I think they might have added a few bits. I
think the fact that it's got about 7,000 bullets in it is probably made up.
It's a RoboCop gun.
He never has to reload that thing.
Never. But I forgot about that scene. But I love that. I love that he's just stood there,
and then he comes out the dark,
and who knows how long he's been there.
Yeah, it's a great reveal. That.
Yeah, it's a really good reveal.
Because I thought he was like shooting them from the side or something, but then he just comes out.
Yeah, or he's behind them, just going. But then he just walks out. Yeah, it's great. Oh, that was lovely. Yeah,
it's a nice bit of imagery.
I love that. I forgot how good that was. Yeah.
I see.
I think I thought that was from the first film for some reason. I think, but I don't know why.
It might have been in the first film as well.
Yeah. But no, it's really. And then he's moving through we haven't talked about Robert Darby. I think he's really good in this.
Yeah, he's Robert Darby. Isn't
he? Exactly. It's my favourite. Fratelli from not the band, from the Goonies.
Bizarrely as well. I didn't realise he was still alive.
Yeah,
it's really and it's like the Mandela effect.
Oh yeah,
I genuinely thought Robert Darby died a few years back.
Yeah, I had one of those,
and then realised he is still. Thank God.
I had one of those with another actor. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, I'm sure he was dead.
And please stay alive, Robert.
Yeah, please. No, let's not have any more deaths.
I don't want this to come out.
We've only just had a few other celebrities go. So
normally when we mention a death. Or talk about it. I was talking about Sean Connery the other day, and then
no. Let's not do it.
The news came out, so let's not talk about that.
Well, let's erase that.
Yeah. Erase that from the tape.
Let's not talk about Threads then, because that might bloody happen.
Just stop it. Stop it.
Not Threads.
You've got to let me start talking about the Navy and fishing vessels.
Really affected my mental health watching that film. I do apologise for forcing you to watch that one.
I tell you what, everyone should watch it.
Yeah,
everyone should watch it and then shut up about Brexit and stuff.
Exactly. Like, this is how bad it could be.
Enjoy being nice to each other.
Yeah, please. It's Christmas.
Yes.
Be good and don't live in a nuclear holocaust.
Threads.
Yeah, watch Threads.
Watch Threads on Christmas Eve. Just before you go to bed.
I'm trying to think if there's some sort of Christmas element to that. I think, isn't there a Christmas part?
I don't think there's anything Christmassy about that, is it? I think there might be snow on the mountains when they're all living by eating sheep poo.
Doesn't the girl and the lad meet each other at a Christmas party or something? Maybe.
I think so. We'll have to watch it now.
Just watch the opening, see if they meet at a Christmas party. But yeah, I would not watch Threads for Christmas. It's not
Christmas Eve.
It's not
nice.
Joyous. It's not joyous like Maniac Cop.
It'll make you enjoy your sprouts the next day. And then when anyone farts using a spray, you go, "Oh, Threads! You trying to start a nuclear holocaust?
Thermonuclear detonation." Oh, bloody hell! No, Robert Darby. Anyway, Robert Darby. He's great in this. He's this tough, no nonsense cop. But he does have like this sensitive side, and like
because he's a detective, isn't he? He's like that's where the noir thing comes. Yeah. He always wears his hat, a bit like Sam Spade type. You know
what they call those hats? The
fedora.
Fedora. Nice
this
fedora.
broad walked into my office. Stupid! She should have opened the door.
She was talking about a Maltese Falcon. Yeah, so he's got that moment where the psychologist meets him. Claudia Christian's character, Riley, Susan Riley.
Riley,
I'm remembering it now. They're coming back to me.
Better than me.
They're coming back to me.
In one ear, out for them.
So and she's like, "Oh, you just killed a guy. Do you want to talk about that?" He's like, "No, he's come back." Pretty much. His scumbag deserved it. He would have shot me. Yeah. Oh well. And she's like, "Well, maybe you're using excessive force. Maybe you could have tried to arrest him." She's like, he's out. He'll be out in a week. Blah blah blah. And then she goes, "Oh yeah, I used to know a friend of yours." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, a friend of yours he had some issues, had a similar track record to you. And someone talked him out of coming to see me, and he killed himself. Was it you?" And he's like, "What the fuck are you trying to say?" He was like, "Well, you're saying,
Yeah.
Again, it's like,
did you kill your friend?"
And again, that's quite a modern thing that men should be open with their feelings and their what's going on and the problems they're having, but there's not this kind of stiff upper lip type thing.
I think that's a good thing about like an old film like this. Old films is they make the point without forcing the point,
right?
So it's just shown and not. Like, you should have got to me with your mental health problems, and then we could have all lived forever. Do please, if you are ever wondering about your mental health, you should talk to someone. And all in the script, they just showed you that, what toxic. It's toxic masculinity as it's known, as it's known now. Back then, it was just don't be
tough man,
don't be a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. I think they even say that in the film.
Yeah, and it does show. It's shown without.
Yeah, you're not hit over the head with it. Yeah. It's kind of there's.
It's not glorified that he's this. That should be done. It is like looked frowned upon.
Yeah,
but they don't.
But also, she's not a very good psychologist. She's shy. She is the doctor. She's the Dr. Loomis of psychologists.
She looks about as happy as I do.
Yeah.
So you'd walk into the psychologist feeling, I feel all right, and then you come up, you just look at her face and go, "Oh my God, what's happened to you, love? Yeah. You're all right. You're all right, darling. Cheer up, love."
But yeah, there's.
But she was sneering her face. What's up with you? Yeah.
But again, like she didn't listen. Apparently, didn't listen to direction, so that might have been shown. That might have shown in her performance. She didn't really want to be there. Might show in her performance as well. And I think sometimes
it makes sense.
Sometimes it can in those kind of I've done shows where maybe I've not necessarily enjoyed being in them. Probably shows with me.
I think we all work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see on your face now, actually.
Never again. But yeah, so, there's that possibility. But yeah, I like that she's a bit shit and she's a bit full of herself.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this is real cop work. This is what cops do.
It's almost like originally she wasn't written as a cop. Because it's like she's more at home on the TV show that she goes on and stuff. You know what I mean? It's that kind of. She's almost like a TV host rather than.
And when she goes on there, she kind of starts showing up the corruption and the covering up of murders, because you've got Leo Rossi's character, who's I can't remember his name, but the hairy Manson guy.
Is it Truckle or Truckell?
Yeah, sure.
It's a really. Yeah. It's his first name is definitely Stephen. It's definitely Steve. I'm sure it's Truckle, but it's his first name's Stephen. So
we'll say Steve.
Yeah,
Steve Truckle.
Sometimes it's like you have to have like a weird name. No, this is just hello, Stephen.
Yeah,
how are you?
Yeah,
just go and act.
At least they didn't give him the actor's name. Like when we did Society, it was Billy.
Yeah, hello, Billy. Oh God, you're a good actor. You can't remember your character's name. Okay, we'll just call you Billy.
We'll call you Keith Chegwin.
God bless him.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to
Go on, you find it. You find
what his name was. You carry on.
But yeah. I can't remember what I was saying.
You carry on giving the listeners some actual information.
Telling something. She's revealing it on TV. Turkle, that was it. Turkle. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turkle. So she was revealing on TV. They're talking about this prostitute or stripper killer, which is Turkle,
and he's watching it in a bar.
And he's like, and it's a strip club. He's like, yeah. And then she's going, no, Cordell. You know, there's murders going on. It's a police officer. It's a madman called Cordell, and they're like, no, let's not talk about him because we covered all this up, which is a revelation at the end of the film, which is like, you know, there was corruption in the force. Cordell was, you know, in the first film, it was more that he was like overzealous, violent, too violent, and eventually they just shut him down because they were like, right, you're killing too many people. You know, you're kind of like the demolition man of your kind of police unit, so stop doing that.
Yeah, they set him up.
And they set him up. But it turns out that he was also investigating, in this film, it's revealed that he was investigating the corruption and the bribes.
I've misremembered the first film there then.
Yeah.
Because I thought the first film was... He was always set up, and that's what he was going for revenge.
No, he was just because he was
just a maniac.
Yeah, he was like a really, really bad, a really, really dirty Harry kind of thing. So that's
it's all coming back to me now.
But then in this one, at the end of this one, Darby's like, you know, speaks to the commissioner, I think it is, or whoever it is, the guy with the grey hair and the pipe, the cigar. He's like, you set him up. You did this.
Should be a lesson to everyone listening. If you're asked to watch the second in a film franchise, watch them all.
Watch the first one,
and then you just got to you can actually remember it rather than trying to troll back through your addled brain of 25 years ago, 30 years. Actually, when was it? Over 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 88, 87.
Wow, and I watched it like on VHS close to that time. Yeah. So it's not too bad that I actually remember any of it.
You're doing really well, I think.
I watched the second one recently.
For this.
Yeah, for this.
I would hope so.
For this.
Get out if you haven't.
I can remember less of that than the first one from years ago.
That's fair. But so the first one, it's more that, but then it's kind of a revelation in this one that he was also doing this other stuff. So it kind of makes Cordell a bit more sympathetic in this one. Because before he was like, this is New York and obviously this horrible criminal element, but it was also like he was going way too far.
They're trying to almost add like a supernatural element to it then, isn't it? Where like if you say sorry and give him a proper burial,
maybe
he won't Jason you in the next film.
All the kind of
give him a full pardon burial thing with the flag and all that stuff.
Because
he basically just left
spoilers.
Because essentially at the end of the first film they just left him in the water.
They were just like, right, he's dead. Well, to be fair, if you'd seen a massive kind of mast go through someone's chest, you would think they were dead.
They just clapped their hands together. They pull the car out the water, don't they?
I think so. Yeah, and he's not there.
With still the post going through it, and he's not there. And yet in the second film, he's full. Surely, if he'd pulled a post out, he'd have had to like rip it sideways.
Yeah, or he just got a big hole in his chest.
No, because he couldn't. I digress here on the physics of this.
Go on.
Death. But if he's in the driver's seat and a big mast goes through your chest, through to the back of the vehicle from the front, to get out, he'd have had to climb through the windscreen and slide 40 foot into the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So it would have been easier to just rip sideways, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. Just take your rib cage out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they didn't think of these things. Did he need to think of these?
No, but yeah, she reveals that, and then Turkle gets quite interested. Another interesting fact for you, Dan, is that Leo Rossi did some quote unquote research by visiting strip clubs.
Yes,
and was kicked out of one because he made eye contact with one of the strippers, and she got freaked out and had the bouncers kick him right out. So. Well done.
Well, he is known as being like a one of those kind of that level of actor, isn't he? What do they call it?
Kind of method actor.
Method, yeah. Very method.
Getting really into the role.
He's pure. He's pure De Niro with that. Now, Daniel Day-Lewis levels of seriousness.
Yeah. But I was kind of wondering about the motivation. William Lustig says these films he made as quick as possible, as fast as possible, and kept them as fast-paced as possible, so no one would notice the plot holes in them. Yeah. Is what he said. I always kind of wonder about his kind of motivation, like Cordell's motivation. Is he going after the cops because he's been betrayed by the cops, or is he going after the criminals because he still hates the criminals because they stabbed him up? And then even at the end, is he in because Turkle teams up with him? They start a friendship, which is kind of strange. It kind of just sort of happens. There's not really much kind of logic to it.
No,
it's enjoyable, but it's just it doesn't make that much sense. And then he kind of protects him and looks after him and stuff. But I'm never quite sure, who's the enemy for Cordell. And when they talk about like getting an army together and taking over, because Danny Trejo's in this as well. He's got a small role, and Clarence Williams III, who was Prince's dad in Purple Rain,
because he's the one who they use as the ruse to get into the prison, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's the Clarence Williams III. You probably know him from Tales from the Hood as well. He was the original.
You might remember him from films
such as Tales from the Hood. He's Prince's abusive dad in Purple Rain. Some other stuff. He's in loads. You'll have seen him. But yeah, it's nice to see. I don't think Danny Trejo has a line, but he's there as a prisoner,
background prisoner,
which is great. But
he was just still in prison at the time, and they just
probably
happened to be filming it.
You look like you've been in prison. Yeah, I have. Oh, great, perfect. You'll fit right in. Yeah. You'll know all the lingo. But yeah, I love it. I love Danny Trejo. He's an
amazing guy.
But yeah, so
I've met him.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did you take his photo?
I did.
Of course you did.
Many photos of him.
I'm sure you have. Handsome fella. Handsome fella.
Some of them he knew about. No, he is a great guy.
You're going to blackmail him. Cancel Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
No, you should. By the way, you should definitely check out Dan's photography, his cosplay photography, and celebs as well. Take photos of the celebs and all the other stuff, headshots, and he is also available to be hired if needs be.
Indeed, full photography.
You get all the stuff, and you get more than you would from some other photographers that you would pay full whack for. And Dan isn't even asking you for the full whack. He's just asking for a decent amount of scratch, so he can live.
We just all gotta live,
Exactly,
especially in these COVID-riddled times.
I love the edits. You've done edits on my photos, like when I think we met when I did President Lex.
Yes,
which again was
my
a bit
favourites.
Yeah,
one
of my favourite, and I think you really captured. I think between the two of us,
yes,
I think we really captured the essence of the Lex, and it was very
corporate,
very Donald Trump as well. I had the badge and everything. I had a green ring with a bit of kryptonite and everything. I had the torn cape as well.
It's superb.
It was good.
You can check it out.
Yes, I can't fit in that suit anymore, but that's another thing.
That's life, mate.
That's life. Just got so fat.
A lot of people say I put a COVID weight. I'm like, I'll use that as an excuse.
Yeah. I call it pizza weight.
There's been COVID going for 3 years in my case then.
But yeah, some good
I've just
stuff.
started wearing jumpers to hide it. It's easier.
I'm just going to have to buy a lot more bigger stuff. Yeah. That's it. That's just the way
just stay in.
I'm trying to eat a little bit better, so I'm doing a little bit. I just probably need to do more exercise. I think that's probably it. Anyway, I tell you what I also like that you do as well is the photo restorations.
Yes, I enjoy that as well.
Yeah, so you'll take a really old photo, a damaged photo, a burnt photo, or what have you, and you're able to digitally not only do these amazing kind of cosplay edits and stuff and add energy, weapons and backgrounds and stuff, but genuine people's memories, you're able to restore and make it look like, and you can turn, black and white into colour and things like that. So and it's amazing stuff.
And sometimes it's images like they've got it really torn, it's in bits, the photo, and you think nothing can be done. Like half a face missing, etc. And you can, if you've got information of one side of the face, you can rebuild the other side.
Yeah, you can kind of sort of just...
Yeah, so you can pretty much do anything digitally with photos, really.
Well, look him up. I'm going to tag him in the podcast. Tag everything. So check it all out. The galleries are there on Facebook.
Cheap
Twitter.
as chips.
Cheap as chips.
As David Dickinson would say.
Discounted.
It's the real deal.
Christmas offers going. So
Contact me for the real deal.
If you're a cosplayer, get in touch. If you're an actor, get in touch. Yes. You know, you've done one of my shows. You did the photography for, which is amazing.
Yes.
Death by Pie as well. Get them on Twitter and Facebook. They're
Death
great.
by Pico.
They're Death by Pico at Death by Pico. Yeah, they're doing some great shows and stuff. I'm not really involved anymore, but I still love what they do. So get involved, get stuck in. Anyway, Maniac Cop 2.
We keep digressing. It's almost like this film doesn't hold our attention.
I know, right? It's well, I will say this about the film: it moves at a pace.
It's a good action film,
and it doesn't outstay its welcome.
No.
It's good. It's just like it's on. It's
about an hour and a half, isn't it? Roughly.
Yeah, a little under or over an hour and a half, and yeah, it's great. It's fun.
It's actually it's the Godfather Part 2 of
the Maniac Cops.
It's a good.
Yeah, arguably.
It's better than the first one.
It does kind of build the universe a bit more, so that grows.
And it's more of well, it's a typical like 90s.
Yeah,
it's Terminator-y, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like an action horror rather.
It's very Terminator. It's like if Jason Voorhees had a gun.
Yeah, the first one's trying to be like a horror film.
Yeah.
This one's more like a slasher.
It's kind of horror, action horror.
Action,
yeah.
More action.
It's kind of your Aliens to Alien, isn't it, really?
Yes.
I think that's probably the best kind of analogy, because it's more action-packed.
And that alien that bursts out our fella's stomach halfway.
Oh, exactly.
Is that a different... I can't
He's
remember.
just got a little police hat on. He's got a badge.
Hello, my man. Tap dancers.
Put your hands up. You're under arrest.
When the little thing goes out of its mouth, it's a truncheon. Oh, that's a good thing about this as well. His weapon is a police truncheon, but when he opens it, it's a sword.
Oh, yes, it's almost like a kind of long kind of. I like the design of it.
Like
it's
a mini
straight
katana
dagger like thing.
But the thing is, he spins it round. He does this cool move where he spins it on the.
That.
But now, every time I think about it, I just think, well, surely the cover would have flown off.
Yeah.
And it'd just be spinning a sword round. Again, something
maybe it's secured, maybe it twists it to secure it. But that, to be fair, when you hear that noise, it's like...
Yeah, because there is a part in the film where you hear it, don't you?
Yeah, and
when
it's
he's
like...
Is he dead? Is he really dead?
You just hear that... And, you know, I don't know how he does it, but it looks amazing as well. He just spins it all the way around, and then he spins it the other way all the way around. Yeah. And it's attached to his wrist. But it probably didn't make that noise, but I do like the sound effect of it.
I think it does make that noise, literally, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you hear it slap on his hand as well.
Yeah.
Every time it catches it,
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I mean, it's hardly any... It's that's what it's going for, I think.
Yeah.
That was the idea behind that noise.
It's not as iconic, but I think it's still effective. It's still like a good kind of, you know, and it worries you.
Here comes the cop.
And you can, because I think in the first one they didn't have that as much, but in this one they have it a lot more. It's more of a motif.
It's his main weapon in this, isn't it?
And again, he's just mental. And then I was talking about the motivation of Maniac Cop and not really understanding it. Where do you stand on that? I'm like, do you think he just kills everybody? Do you think he's just,
I think
he is a maniac. He'll just kill whoever he thinks.
One of the things that is quite like you'll find jarring in the film is the fact that they could have made him where he was like still a cop.
Yeah,
you know, like when he comes into a situation, he's almost like his first instinct will be cop-like, but then he just goes, "Oh, we'll just kill everyone in here."
Yeah,
but he kind of like bursts in as a cop, kills the person who's the victim.
Yeah,
he goes for the victim first rather than like anyone else.
Yeah, that's the opening scene. The opening, the new footage for the start of the film is kind of a hold up, and he walks in. He knocks the guy out who's holding the guy hostage. And then he kills.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, that as well.
Because basically the perp is making the fella scratch all the scratch cards off, and he wins $5,000, and he's like, "You won. You've won $5,000."
You're a liar. You're a liar.
And then the cop like takes him out, so he's knocked out, and he goes, "Ooh, I can keep this money." And then he just shoots him with a shotgun. Yes, okay, you're not getting your $5,000.
Yeah, it's just like kills anybody. So you think it's not necessarily like who's wronged him, or
do you
think
the
he
end,
has a motive?
Towards the end of it, when he's made friends with Turkle, and Turkle saying, "Yeah, we're going to make an army" and all that, you see that look of recognition on his face where he's like, "I'm not making an army, mate. I'm just going to kill all these people who killed me. It's revenge cop."
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So he's going back to Sing Sing.
But all the other kills in the film cops. It's pretty much like the fellow who gets on the hook.
Yeah.
And another great kill where he's towing the car.
Yeah,
and the cops are pure shit. It's a cop, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like a traffic cop.
Yeah. And he's going, you're getting towed. And he's like, it's Christmas, buddy, come on.
Yeah.
And he's a proper camel-coloured coat.
Yeah.
Dapper.
Like yuppie.
Typical
proper kind of
yuppie from those
type,
films, isn't he? Like, Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places type.
Yeah.
And then this cop basically gets put on a hook on the back of the tow vehicle and towed away. And what does the fella do? He just rips his tickets up and goes, woohoo, yippee! It's like, oh, come on, man.
And then like the next scene, he's like being arrested. He's like, it's clearly you. It's clearly you.
And even then, police let him go. Yeah. He just goes, it wasn't me. And he goes, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Literally says,
but you would think, like, if he's writing up a ticket and your car is being towed away with the guy
you'd go,
you're like, well, it's clearly you. You're the murderer.
You'd be slightly traumatised, wouldn't you? At the very least.
It's like,
he just skips up the road, ripping his ticket up into millions of pieces.
It's like goes back to his bar or whatever. Yeah.
Like the end of the Goonies. Woohoo!
I'll tell you a moment I really like in it as well. We're speaking of James Earl Jones' dad.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is it Henry Jones or Harry Jones, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway.
I think his name's Harry in the film.
Harry in the film. Maybe that's why. But James Earl Jones' dad, anyway. Yeah. Regardless, he has this. The killing is done of Bruce Campbell, which a lot of people weren't very happy about with him dying, and Lorraine Landron or whatever she was called being killed, because they were like, oh, we like those characters, and they're like. He's like, William Lustig was like, I don't really care.
Don't care. Now they're dead.
Yeah, and even in the first film, like Tom Atkins, he's like the lead guy all the way through. Yeah. He still buys it, he still dies, and I really like Tom Atkins in that, but it doesn't make it a worse film. And you've got Richard Roundtree in that film as well.
Some proper,
it's a great cast. Yeah, Robert Forrester's in the third one.
I think the cast in all of them is decent.
It's good. Like I'm surprised that obviously there are a lot of kind of genre kind of film stars and kind of from the 70s or 80s that are like being used in it.
Yeah.
But it works. Yeah. And it brings, like, there are only small parts really that they play. Right, Robert Forrester plays a head surgeon or something in the third one, but then he's killed in like. But they
bring something to it, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And there's the guy in the third one as well. The teacher from Breakfast Club, the guy from Die Hard. Yeah. He's in it for like 5 minutes and then gets killed. There's all these really top quality actors in every single film in this franchise. Yeah. There is a actor you've definitely seen somewhere before and that have delivered some decent worthy performances. These kind of genre stars, and it's nice to see that kind of that heritage of films kind of carrying on and hiring those actors. You could have just hired any old person, but I'm glad that they pulled these kind of guys and that they were up for it as well.
Recognisable faces.
They said, you know what? Yeah, it sounds great. I like the concept. It's a B movie, but what the hell?
The paycheck's good.
Yeah, it's money.
I'll take it.
I'll take the work. So yeah. Anyway, there's after Bruce Campbell gets killed, the blind guy who's James Earl Jones' dad. He's giving this speech about World War II. It's
very good. It's his Quint moment.
Yeah, basically, this is a Quint moment. Yeah, so he's got this backstory, and he's been blinded by an explosion. He's been covered in dead bodies, and the dead bodies are keeping him warm because it's like the height of winter.
Yeah.
And he was like, did you touch the Maniac Cop? And he was like, yeah, I've never felt the cold of death like I have when I touched that cop. And it's like, ooh, fucking hell, that gives you chills, like literal chills. So that's a absolutely great moment in it as well. But talk about Turkle a bit. You're saying that's your favourite performance in it.
I think it's a really for what the character is. I think it's really well rounded. He's a good actor.
Yeah,
and I think he takes it to the manic without being over the top.
Yeah,
because he's quite believable. In fact,
it's not hamming it up
when he's watching the show in the strip club. He basically gets a new stripper comes out. That he's never seen before. And the thing about Turkle is he's killing these dancers so they don't dance for anyone else. Yeah. That's his thing. So he's got them all, like the pictures on the walls of the girls he's killed when he takes Cordell back. When he takes Cordell back to his place for a coffee, he shows him these pictures and says, look, these girls are never going to dance for anyone else now. They're my girls. You know what I mean? And when this new stripper comes out, he picks his change up off the bar. He's been sat at the bar watching the TV all this time, and he's got like the change sat there, and he just gets the one note that's there and walks over and just like shows her the note. So she comes over to him, gives him all the attention, and he's like praying at the altar of her. He literally he cups his hands and like prays, and he's just looking at her. He looks at her in the eyes. She takes her top off, and he's not interested
in the eyes.
He's just looking at her. He's seeing her. It's a beautiful moment. and then she throws a bra at him, and he kind of like snaps out of it, kind of thing. And that's almost like when you see the fact that he like kind of falls in love with them.
Yeah.
But then for some reason thinks, I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah. I've had that. I've got that now. Yeah. That's mine. It's always going to be mine. Nobody else gets it.
And then it basically goes straight there then to in the room where she's in her room. Again, there's loads of stupid bits in this film. She's basically in like, it's really weird because she's in like it's almost like an old woman's room with like their old furniture and all that, but then there's all this like rah-rah stuff and like her school letters on the wind, you know what I mean?
She's almost like, because she's got that phone call with her mom or something. Or
it's like she's in a dorm, but it's like an old motel type thing. It's really bizarre.
It's almost like those two worlds that are slowly kind of the stripper world in her career as a stripper, but then her like trying to go to college and be the family girl as well.
It's just totally bizarre.
It's almost like we don't have time to get to know this character. Yeah. Here's just the two main facets of who she is.
The door rattles and she goes, "Oh, who is it?" And then it starts getting banged on. So she rings whoever must be downstairs, the security, and you can hear them saying, "No, piss off, it's the job you do," kind of thing to her. Not helping at all.
Yeah.
It's like they're really dismissive of her. She's screaming at somebody's trying to murder me, and they're like, shut up.
Like this film, these set of films are not a great advert for New York.
Do you know what? That was something I was going to mention as well. Do you remember like 80s, 90s was New York? You wouldn't want to go to New York.
Nah.
It was like steam coming out the sewers and just you got killed every corner.
I think 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. There's not many like magical
New York. It was the Warriors.
Movies.
Everything's the Warriors. And it's like, and who'd have thought it was Giuliani who fixed that? I don't know. How bizarre.
Yeah. So Giuliani fixed it.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. Modern Giuliani's.
Would have joined in.
Yeah, my God.
But anyway, we digress.
Scary. Yeah. Political.
So, and that bit where he comes into that room actually is a jump scare.
Yeah.
And then he's quite, it's like quite realistic. That it's not like he's not like a boogeyman type. Yeah. He's literally just
grabbing her. He's grabbing her and like yeah. And it's not. And what I like about it as well, it's not like exploitative. It's not he slaps her and her breast falls out, and he's trying to it gets to the point where he's trying to rape her or something. You don't actually get to those moments. No. So it's almost quite tame. In regards to showing, like if you look at Maniac, like that's quite full on. Yeah, there's none of stuff like that. But this is kind of reined in, and I think he knows the kind of story he's trying to tell here with the Maniac Cop, as opposed to that particular character and his sexual perversions.
Yeah, the Maniac Cop comes into the room, and he's rougher than the serial killer. Yeah, and I think that's kind of like a point they make. At first, he shoves him out the way to get to his victim. Yeah. So you think, he's going to kill him.
Yeah. But then he just takes
he doesn't. He actually starts strangling her.
Yeah.
And then the police come in, obviously. Takes two coppers out. Again, super Hulk throw across the room. and then he breaks the window through so the other and helps the other guy through. Yeah. Come on, sir. Please. Yeah. Please escape with me, and they escape into the night.
And again, like it's not that's
very Frankenstein Igor-y type.
Is it? Yeah.
Because he's helping the doctor out the window kind of things. He's using his strength to get him to safety.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of helping him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just wish there was a bit more kind of... I needed a bit more kind of information why the Maniac Cop was there. Like, why was he there? How does he know who that guy is? He just turns up. It's random. Yeah. I get that he's seen him. Like Leo Rossi has seen him on TV. Like I get that. So I felt like he should find the cop. Like he should find the Maniac Cop, not the other way around.
And it was also it's on like the 15th floor or something. It's not like the Maniac Cop was just passing.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone all the way up.
And you wouldn't think he's got a radio because she rang the police. But it's not like
but it's like within seconds as well. Isn't it? It's
he's
within,
the first on the scene. Is
exactly.
the Maniac Cop.
Yeah, even those cops that do arrive, arrive fairly quickly. But I don't know if he's got.
Is there any reason for him to be there? Was he? Was he in the area?
Was he just going to kill that woman just randomly, or was there I kind of just I wanted a bit more kind of I like the relationship, I like the kind of the serial killer and the other serial killer, but I like to have a bit more kind of
I don't think they could think of anything about to do it, so they just went.
I think they were like, we just want these two characters together. We like these two characters. Get them together. This happens. It's just random. Yeah. But I felt if there was something like. If he'd seen the stripper commit a crime or something, maybe, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go kill her."
Because I think in the first film, I may be misremembering this again. Doesn't he have the radio either in his car?
And
he hears calls.
Well, you know what it is. The woman he's kind of. That woman you thought it was his mother is kind of giving him information because it's like an inside job to go and kill these. Go to these crime scenes or kill these specific people. Yeah. Because that kind of puts the blame on somebody else, puts it on Bruce Campbell and stuff. Yeah. I think that's how it works. And I mean, he might have a police radio, might have a police car, possibly. I can't remember.
I think he had the car in the first one, but I can't, because otherwise I literally can't think why.
There's a great, the finale of the third one has a great car chase in it, where the Maniac Cop is on fire the whole time. So he's chasing them. They're in an ambulance.
I need to rewatch that.
He's chasing them, and he's just constantly on fire. And then he holds on to the van. He holds on to the ambulance so they can't get away.
I always remember that film. I don't know why I remember it, because it was Badge of Honor, wasn't it?
Yeah, Badge of Silence.
Badge of Silence.
Badge of Silence. You have the right to remain silent forever. So it's fun, it's silly, it's very much the same sort of thing. But if you like the car chase in Maniac Cop
chases, all the stunt work and the car and the action scenes in this film are really good.
Yeah, and it's just it's fun. Like, it's not, you're going into Maniac Cop or Maniac Cop 2 or even Maniac Cop 3. You're not expecting kind of Oscar-worthy performances. No. You're not expecting necessarily good writing, good film techniques, storytelling, whatever.
It's got a beautiful cut in this where I think it's the stripper girl who gets killed. Maybe
okay.
Not.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But anyway, she walks into the camera and goes right into her face.
Yeah.
Blacks out, and then she's in another room behind. It's a really nice cut.
Yeah.
Peter McKinnon would be proud.
There's some good work, and I'll be honest, because William Lustig and Larry Cohen, wrote, produced and directed all of them, there is quite a consistency to them in style, in tone, in writing, in characterization. So there, it's one of the more probably consistent horror trilogies, at least trilogies out there. You do kind of get what you want from each of the films, and again, they don't outstay their welcome. They're quite short, they're quite pacey. They add a bit more layer. They add another kind of layer to the kind of onion of the story, if you will.
They're enjoyable, actually enjoyable schlock.
It's proper, it is schlock. It is schlock, but I like schlock. Yeah. I like cheese, and I think they are stylish and they are stylized in a way. Especially the first one is very. I think it just has. There's something about the first one I think is probably the best looking. I think,
and this one, as he walks when he attacks the police station, it's got the beautiful scene where he walks through a window with a wreath on and the wreath sticks to his face. It's
classic.
Nothing says Christmas like a Maniac Cop with the wreath on his head. I thought it was going to land on his head, like Jesus,
or like right on his neck,
or like the Ghost of Christmas yet to come, or something like that.
Change your ways, or the Maniac Cop will kill you. That sort of thing.
There's a wreath on his head, or he could have just tipped in, gone, "Hello, ma'am." Go down.
That's it. That's all he says in the second one as well. It's go down. And then I think in the third one, all he says is finish it. Speaking of Cordell, Robert Darby was known for being a little bit of a dickhead sometimes. I like him; he's good, but he's on set. He's known for being a bit mischievous, a bit. So apparently, Robert Zadar was having a real issue with the makeup, and just didn't like the makeup. Wasn't having a good time with it. When he would eat,
he's kind of more decayed in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of rotted away or pruned up because he's been in the water. I don't think he's got a nose.
He's more skeletal, definitely.
Yeah, like in the last one, there's not necessarily anything supernatural about.
No, it's just a sliced face.
Yeah.
He could be alive.
Yeah.
You don't know whether he's
he dies
He is actually
or
dead.
not.
Yeah,
but anyway,
he's dead.
he's dead now. He's definitely dead now. God, I've forgotten what I was saying now. I was saying about the thing.
Robert Darby being a bit of a...
Yes, Robert Darby, sorry.
Bit of a shit.
See, I'm bad today as well. My brain's gone.
It's catching.
It's catching up. I'm catching the disease. Robert Darby was a bit of a dickhead. So when Zadar was eating, some of the food would get stuck between his mask and his face. Quite irritating. So Robert Darby would go up and go, "Oh, you enjoying your meal?" So he'd have like a liquid lunch. Because food would get everywhere, and he's like, "You enjoying your meal? I've got this lovely hamburger. This hamburger's so tasty." And he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, man?" But he had such a hard time with it that the director said, "I tell you what, if you soldier through this film, I'll pay for your family to go on a holiday."
Nice.
And he did. Genuinely did. He paid for the holiday, paid for the flight. Very happy, and that's why he came back for a third one, because he was like, "Fair enough, you got me." And I think the makeup's a bit more severe in the third one, because again, at the end of this movie, spoilers, but he gets burned to a crisp. And he doesn't even, poor guy doesn't even get his revenge after all this.
I know, yeah.
Doesn't even get the guys go, "Oh, it's Cordell!" Like they recognise him somehow. They're like, "It's Cordell."
Every prisoner in there was clearly arrested by him.
Yeah.
Every single prisoner, Cordell.
And they Molotov him, don't they? They Molotov him straight away, and they're like, he's just like,
the person he just announces it over the tannoy, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Cordell. He's talking to him, and everyone in the place goes, "It's Cordell.
It's Cordell." Oh no!
There's not even one prisoner who just shrugs his shoulders and goes, "Who's Cordell?"
Yeah.
Everyone's terrified.
Cordell's here. Cordell's here.
And somehow they've got flammable liquids to hand, as you do.
Yeah, as you do, Molotovs. Maybe they made it in toilet water. Who knows?
Possible, yeah.
Probably something like that.
But it starts the longest full burn sequence I have ever seen.
Yeah.
In my entire life.
And that's why it's great. And again, in the second one, like I was talking about, he's just constantly on fire in the second one.
He's grabbing people, setting them on fire with his hands. And
I guess that's kind of like another thing that goes back to that Frankenstein idea, because he was always kind of afraid of fire and being burnt and stuff. So how do you kill this Frankenstein monster? Well, we set him on fire. And then they make this horrific... He manages to grab Turkle, and then Turkle's like, I'm on fire! Which is a stunt Leo Rossi didn't want to do. Until the director,
because he was originally a stuntman, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. But William Lustig was like, "You do it, and I'll do it." So William Lustig was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Did it. It was fine. Apparently, Leo Rossi still burnt his beard and hair.
I'm surprised. That was some beard and hair.
I don't know how long he was growing that for, but bloody hell, like it takes me a while to get a good bush on, but even I can't even get up to that level.
He was full bushman,
full bush. But yeah, and then they tumble out of the building and die. That's a great stunt as well. Yeah. Falling into
the food truck,
into the food truck, and then that explodes, and amazing. But yeah, it's a film. It's certainly
it's definitely a film, and it of course ends with that beautiful ending of there's a coffin with his badge on it, and his hand bursts out and grabs the badge.
Again, the kind of Friday the 13th type.
Freddy Krueger killing the mum at the end type end.
Yeah, it is that.
It's just, but it's with a badge.
Yeah, so that final carry moment, that final jump scare. Yeah, it's like. It's done quite well. I think it's like quite fast. Yeah. I quite like that.
It's one of them ones where you have to slow motion it to see if the badge actually doesn't fly off.
Yeah.
And he's grabbed nothing.
Yeah. Imagine that.
It's that quick.
He's grabbed it.
That would be quite the blue.
It's gone.
It's good glue on that badge.
So I think overall I like the Maniac Cop franchise.
Yes, I do.
I think it's the good, the solid.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And it's one of those franchises where there might be other franchises where if they announce a TV show now, you'd be like,
yeah.
Don't know about that, but this one is like, ooh, love to see what they do with it, because the characters and the whole. I mean, as we say now, it's probably even more relevant.
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of hope
trauma cops go through, and they put on, and the bad ones.
Yeah,
give,
as well.
Give the good
police
ones
a bad name. Yeah. I kind of hope what you were saying before, that they try and do that, where it's like it's a regular cop. And he's like, "Oh, hello, I'm just pulling you over for the ticket."
Yeah.
And then you realise he's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they do that. That it's a bit more kind of... you can't tell who it is. It's not just this hulking monster. I mean, I don't mind if it gets to that point, like later on, where it's like, or if he's maybe like he was in the army and he had like a super soldier serum or something. That.
Be good if he's a big. He's got to be a big guy.
Yeah,
biggish guy.
Yeah.
A little bit like. Do you remember Southland, the show?
No.
Well, Cudlitz, who's in Walking Dead.
Okay, yeah.
What's his first name? But he's a it's all cop show, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's like quite
stacked,
a big guy. He's not like dead muscly, but he looks like if he grabbed all of you, he could grab all of you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think that's what you'll need. Not like a nice faced actor. Like
no, I guess you've still got to have the elements that make it Maniac Cop.
But he's got to be nice enough to go to people and know. He doesn't want that sliced up appearance.
I kind of like to see the arc for the character. I'd kind of like to see the beginnings and then how he gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then maybe he gets killed, has an accident, and then comes back. Like I'd like to see how he kind of slowly but surely the Maniac Cop comes out, and then almost like, do you remember the first season of Daredevil where you get him in a suit that's not the Daredevil suit, but he's doing all the things. You see the development, and then the finale, you get the big.
Well, that's what would be good. Because if the
suit.
first series was just he was literally they're hunting for this maniac killer cop. He gets caught at the end of this series and done in. Yeah, and then series 2 is going to be like he's the monster cop.
Well, yeah, I mean that would follow the films, but I would like to see I would like more of that mystery, or more kind of
a point.
What's his reason? More red herrings as well. Could it be this guy? He's a bit dodgy. Like it could be like the whole idea. Like it could be anybody is just that a hair's breadth, one bad day away from being the Maniac Cop. So anybody could be the Maniac Cop, or one day someone's using a little too excessive force, are they the Maniac Cop? Or maybe someone's being a bit secretive, are they the Maniac Cop? I would kind of like a bit more of that mystery, but then again, I still kind of want that kind of supernatural, superhuman aspect.
It's hard to say how they could do it as a series, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. But I'm interested. I think they've got, like we said, they've got amazing people behind it. So I love Ed Brubaker. I love Drive and all the other films from Refn. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think they're the best kind of team to attack something like this and to bring something new to it and to twist it in a way. I'm well up for it. Whenever it comes out.
It's going to be on HBO, is it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to do a bit more research.
It's got that vibe about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know who.
It's got to be cable. It's not going to be a network show.
No, it's going to be. There's going to be streaming, some sort of streaming involved. But I think it's got a big enough name, and I think people know the franchise enough to see that there's going to be something different about it, and there'll be a new spin on it. And I'm really looking forward to it because I think it'll be.
I'll have to have another look because I'm sure it was a couple of years ago they announced that.
Yeah. He said something.
I've kind of forgotten about it until you mentioned it before. So I'll have to.
I remember hearing. Ages ago, I remember hearing Brubaker was attached, and then I heard Refn was attached. I wasn't sure with or without the script from Brubaker. But now if I go on IMDb, it says Refn and it says Brubaker script. So I'm hoping that they're together. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe Refn will have his own idea,
and it hasn't been shelved already.
Yeah, who knows? And again, maybe it should have come out this year. Maybe it should have been produced this year. But obviously, with everything going on, who knows? I'm still waiting for my Killer Clowns from Outer Space sequel as well.
Well, they've been talking about that again recently, haven't they? So it's definitely happening.
Yeah, I would hope so because that's one of my favourites. One of my personal favourite films.
It says a lot, that.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It is a good film, though.
I do enjoy it. Right. I think we've talked enough.
Oh my God.
Enough about...
We made it, man.
The Maniac Cops.
The Maniac.
All 1, 2, 3 Maniac Cops. I know it's probably not been the most linear of podcasts.
Well, you do surprise me.
Yeah, I know, right? We do go off on our tangents, but I think we've talked around the movies. But
we should plan one of these out one day and actually have points that we stick to.
Points and remember people's names?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Nah, who would do that?
That's crazy talk.
That's crazy talk. You're going downtown for crazy talk.
And I have to say, you may think my New York accents are awful, but that's literally what they sound like in the film.
It is. Like very over the top.
Guys go, oh my God.
I'm never putting a cop in my car again.
Come on, lady.
Yeah, exactly. All that sort of stuff. Come on, lady. You're pulling the other one.
Oh, you goddamn broads.
Yeah. You're off the investigation. Oof. All that sort of stuff. But yes, so Dan, we have already plugged you and your photography stuff, but where can people find you on the social medias?
Social medias, Dan Burgess Photo on the Facebooks.
The Facebooks, yes.
Instagram at Dan's Photo. And Twitter at Dan's Photo 1.
Very, very original. Very original.
It is. I like to stick to the classics.
So head there for all your photography
I think mostly
needs.
Instagram is the place.
I think for images, especially for like photography, I think Instagram probably is the place to be. Make sure you're doing all your hashtags.
If you get on the Twitters,
hashtags.
I think I've got at least 12 followers on Twitter.
Fair enough.
Stratospheric.
It's there. It exists. It's a thing. It's been really good having you on again. I'll have you on again soon.
Thank you, sir. Something good next time. Then?
Yeah, I'll try. Well, I mean, why not I'll let you pick next time. You can pick whatever you want.
That could be dangerous.
We'll do whatever you want. I feel bad for making you watch all these films.
I enjoy these films.
Of course you do. Of course you do. I knew you would.
Especially, I was trying to look for what Christmas things we could talk about in this film, but there was just nothing.
Nah, there's no.
Apart from that chainsaw.
That's fine.
Again, chainsaw with the tinsel on, you have to watch it just for that.
That is quite Christmassy.
Fully fueled.
Again, these are alternatives, so they're not necessarily about Christmas, not very Christmas themed, but they are at least set around Christmas, roughly, or New Year's, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, whatever you want, around the festive period.
Festive holidays, holiday season.
Holiday season, yeah. So anything that is kind of remotely around those kind of holidays.
Yes.
I will include, even if it has the slightest, I did a video with Andy recently about Rambo, and that's technically a kind of alternative Christmas movie.
Very alternative.
But yeah. Well, I think it is time for me to give out my social medias because people want to know where I am who I am and what I do.
Why?
Who am I? I don't even know anymore.
Who, why, when?
Who, why, when? Who, what, where? So on Facebook, it's at Secret Bores. Twitter, it's at Dan_Bores. Instagram, Spider Dan Secret Bores. And the podcast is available on all good podcast apps, such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and now available on Apple Music and Audible.
Nice.
I know, I've gone mainstream.
You've changed.
It's free as well. It's free. You don't have to pay, don't worry.
The best price of all.
Exactly. And many, many, many more. So if you'd like to towards... We're having a meltdown today. And if you'd like...
Is that a robot off Star Wars?
If you'd like to donate towards the podcast, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/SpiderDan and the Secret Bores. And don't forget to use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle. And we certainly have prattled on today.
Well, yes. Story of my life.
Story of my life. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun talking these films and experiencing them with you yourself.
Thank you for letting me watch some ho-ho homicide.
Ho-ho horrible films. That was great. Well, I think we'll end it there. Thank you again, Dan.
Thank
you,
sir.
You've been a blast. And we'll see you again very, very soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.